Hi guys, Brian here from English Decoded, and welcome to the second episode of this grammar series. In the last episode, we talked about the most important verb that exists in the English language, and that is the verb to be. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about how to form questions using the verb to be.
I said, are you gonna be my girl?
How to form questions with to be. So, before we start, I have one question for you. Do you think this is correct? You are American? Okay, so the answer we shall find at the end of this video. But please do watch the whole video for you to find out how to form questions with to be. So, let's start. Let's have a quick review first. We conjugate or change verbs depending on the subject or who is doing the action. Okay? So if the subject is I, then we use am. Okay? Not is. So we don't say I is studying grammar. We use I am studying grammar. Okay? So if the subject is he, she, and or it, then we use is. If the subject is you, we use are. If the subject is we or they, we use are. And we contract or shorten those verbs depending on the situation, whether it's formal or informal, whether it's spoken or written. Okay, again, the rules are the same, and if you don't remember the rules, just go back to the previous episode because I talked about the rules of where or when you should use a formal tone or an informal tone. So I am becomes I'm, he, she, it become he's, she's, its, you becomes your, we, they become we're, there. Now, we're going to learn how to form questions. So to form a question, we're going to use what is called an inversion. Okay? What? What do you mean by that, Brian? Well, don't worry. That just means changing the order of the subject and the verb to be. Okay? So you have a subject, which is the doer, and the verb. And then you have the rest of the sentence. So for example, here, I am studying grammar. So I is the subject, am is the verb. So we're going to do an inversion, and we're going to change the formation or the order of these two things here. So questions with the verb to be start with either am, is, or are. Of course, we're talking about the present simple here, okay? But we're not gonna delve or dive into present simple. I just want you to look here. So we have I am studying grammar, and that's the statement. That's not a question. Now we turn that into a question. It becomes, am I studying grammar? Okay, so the subject and the verb change places. I am becomes, am I? He is becomes, is he? She is becomes, is she? It is becomes, is it? We are becomes, are we? You are becomes, are you? And they are becomes, are they? And well, if you've noticed at the end of those questions earlier, my intonation rose. So my pitch got higher. And that's because I'm asking a question. When you're asking a question, we normally have a rising intonation. All right, so let's do some examples here. Are we there already? Not yet. Just a few more minutes. Am I allowed to bring a pet? Yes, I think so. Are we going to the mall or the supermarket? Let's go to the mall first. I want to buy some clothes. Okay, so notice that the question, are we going to the mall, has a rising tone, but then, or the supermarket has a falling tone. So when there are two options or more, the first intonation is rising and the last option or intonation is falling. So are we going to the mall or supermarket? Is he Korean, Chinese, or Japanese? Or you can also say, is he Korean, Chinese, or Japanese? So again, the last option is usually, it usually has the falling tone. Okay, some more tips here. Just keep in mind that when asking questions this way, the subject and verb simply change places, as we've talked about earlier, and we often replace the noun with a subject pronoun when responding to a question because it's just shorter and easier to say. So here are some examples. Is your sister coming home tonight? No, she isn't. So we replace your sister with she. Okay. Another one is, are your friends interested in playing? Yes, they are. So your friends, and then we change it to they are. What about question words? Let me get this straight, Brian. You're saying that when we form a question, we simply change the order of the subject and verb. But is it limited to just that? Okay, that's a really good question. Well, no. In fact, we can ask a lot of different types of questions by putting a question word at the beginning. And what are those question words? Well, they are who, what, where, when, how, and why. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples and try to guess which question word you must use. Is your favorite food? My favorite food is ramen. What is your favorite food? Yes, the question word what. We use what when we talk about a specific person, thing, animal, or object. Ramen do you like the most? Which ramen do you like the most? Shoyu, shio, miso, or tonkotsu? We use which when there's an option or a choice. Are you from? Where are you from? Yes, the question word where, because we use where when talking about locations. Is in the classroom. Who's in the classroom? Yes, that's right. The question word who, because we use who when talking about a person. Are you shouting at me? Why are you shouting at me? Yes, that's right. The question word why, because we use why to ask for a reason or explanation. Are you? How are you? Okay, that's right. How, because we use how to ask about condition, quality, manner, and the way things are. So, quick question here. Can we use short forms for question words? Yes, we can contract or shorten the forms with the question words. And we use the short forms to make things shorter and easier to say. For example, instead of saying, what is the problem? We ask, what's the problem? Instead of saying, who is the person? We ask, who's the person? And instead of saying, where is, we can say, where's. What's the problem? Nothing really. I'm just sleepy. Who's the person in charge here? Me. Where's your phone? I think I lost it. Okay, so we're gonna go back to my first question, which um, is this question correct? You're American? Well, it is correct. Okay? When you say, when you give a statement or you provide a statement, it's usually like, you're American. But we can also turn that into a question, which is, you're American? Okay, that's correct. But, okay, however, all right, we only use this when you or the speaker knows something but wants to express surprise. So let me give you an example here. So let's look at the example. It says, you can speak English. All right, so that's a question, but we did not change the order of the subject and verb. We didn't say, can you speak English? Okay. So the reason why is because we're expressing surprise, or we expressing something that we thought we knew about this person. So we can say something like, you can speak English? I didn't know. I thought you only speak Japanese. So if you say, can you speak English? Well, that means that we don't know yet if the person speaks English. We're not sure. But here, we're actually asking, you can speak English? Which means that the person knows how to speak English. Okay? So that's when we use the statement, but with the question form. Or that's how we use the statement in a question form. So that's it for this episode, and thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.